The entertainment world has been shaken by devastating news that has left fans and colleagues of Martin Short heartbroken and struggling to process the tragedy that has befallen one of comedy's most beloved figures. Katherine Short, the eldest daughter of the legendary comedian and actor Martin Short, has died at the age of just 42 years old, leaving behind a family in profound mourning and a community that she touched through her dedicated work in mental health services. The news broke when the Short family released a statement confirming the death of Katherine, though they referred to her by her full name, Katherine Hartley Short, in their official announcement to the media. The family's statement, which was shared with E! News, conveyed the depth of their sorrow and the immeasurable loss they are experiencing during this impossibly difficult time. The statement read, and these are the exact words from the grieving family. It is with profound grief that we confirm the passing of Katherine Hartley Short. The Short family is devastated by this loss and asks for privacy at this time. Katherine was beloved by all and will be remembered for the light and joy she brought into the world. Those words, simple yet powerful, paint a picture of a woman who made a meaningful impact on the lives of those around her, someone who brought brightness into the world during her time here, and whose absence will be felt deeply by everyone who knew her. The circumstances surrounding Katherine's death are particularly tragic and heartbreaking. According to law enforcement sources who spoke with TMZ on February 24th, Katherine died by suicide, with the Los Angeles Police Department responding to a call at her Hollywood Hills home during the early morning hours. Officers arrived at the residence in the pre-dawn darkness, a time when the city is quiet and still, to discover the tragedy that had unfolded. The Los Angeles Police Department, which serves one of the largest metropolitan areas in the United States, responded to what would become one of the most heartbreaking calls their officers would handle. Involving the daughter of a man who has brought laughter to millions of people over the course of his decades-long career in entertainment. E! News, in their attempts to gather more information and provide comprehensive coverage of this developing story, reached out directly to Martin Short for comment, hoping perhaps to hear from the comedian himself or receive additional information from his representatives. However, as of their reporting, they had not received any response, which is entirely understandable given the circumstances and the overwhelming grief that the family must be experiencing. Martin Short, a man who has spent his entire professional life in the public eye, performing for audiences, giving interviews, and sharing his comedic talents with the world, now finds himself in the most private and painful moment imaginable, dealing with the loss of his firstborn child. To understand the full scope of this tragedy, it's important to know more about Martin Short's family and the life he built with his late wife. The comedian and his beloved wife of 30 years, Nancy Dolman, who was also an accomplished actress and singer, welcomed 3 children into their family through adoption before Nancy's own tragic death in 2010 from ovarian cancer. Nancy Dolman's passing was itself a devastating blow to Martin Short, who had been married to her for 3 decades, and he has spoken in interviews over the years about the profound love he had for his wife and how her death affected him and their children. Katherine was the eldest of the 3 children that Martin and Nancy adopted, making her loss even more significant as the firstborn of the family. What makes Katherine's story particularly poignant is the path she chose for herself, one that diverged significantly from the glittering lights and constant attention of Hollywood that surrounded her famous father. Unlike Martin Short, who has been a fixture in entertainment for decades, appearing in countless films, television shows, and stage productions, Katherine actively avoided the Hollywood spotlight, deliberately carving out her own path and establishing her own identity separate from her father's celebrity status. She made the conscious decision to pursue a career dedicated to helping others, choosing a profession that required years of education, training, and a genuine commitment to making a difference in people's lives. Katherine's educational journey was impressive and demonstrated her dedication to her chosen field. She attended New York University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the country, where she graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology and gender sexuality studies. This dual focus in her undergraduate education showed her interest in understanding human behaviour and the complexities of identity, subjects that would serve her well in her future career. But Katherine didn't stop there. She continued her education by pursuing a master's degree in social work from the University of Southern California, another highly respected institution known for its excellent programs in the helping professions. The combination of her undergraduate and graduate education provided her with a strong foundation for the work she would go on to do. After completing her education and obtaining her credentials, Katherine became a licensed clinical social worker, a designation that requires not only advanced education, but also supervised clinical experience and passing rigorous examinations. She began her professional career by working at several mental health clinics throughout the Los Angeles area, gaining valuable experience and honing her skills in different settings. Her work history included positions at some of the most respected mental health facilities in the region, including UCLA's Resnick Neuropsychiatric Hospital, which is part of one of the nation's leading medical centers and is known for its cutting-edge treatment and research in mental health. She also worked at the Camden Center, another facility dedicated to providing mental health services to those in need. All of this information about Katherine's educational background and professional experience comes from her own website, where she presented her qualifications and her approach to helping clients. Eventually, after gaining extensive experience working in various clinical settings and learning from colleagues and mentors in the field, Katherine took the significant step of starting her own private practice. This move represented both her confidence in her abilities as a clinician and her desire to have more autonomy in how she served her clients. Running a private practice requires not only clinical skills, but also business acumen, self-motivation, and the ability to build a client base through reputation and referrals. The tragic irony of Katherine's death cannot be overlooked. Here was a woman who dedicated her professional life to mental health, who spent her days helping others navigate their psychological struggles, who earned advanced degrees in understanding human behavior and emotional well-being, and who worked in some of the most respected psychiatric facilities in the country. She was someone who understood mental health crises, who likely helped countless individuals work through suicidal ideation, depression, anxiety, and other mental health challenges. Yet despite all her training, education, and professional experience, she was not immune to her own struggles. This painful reality serves as a stark reminder that mental health professionals are human beings who face their own battles, and that having knowledge about mental health does not provide immunity from mental illness. Katherine's death also highlights the ongoing mental health crisis that continues to affect people across all demographics, professions, and backgrounds. Suicide remains one of the leading causes of death, particularly among younger adults, and it affects families regardless of their wealth, status, or access to resources. The Short family, despite their prominence and presumably having access to the best mental health care available, could not prevent this tragedy. This underscores the complex nature of mental illness and the reality that even with support systems, professional help, and loving families, some individuals still succumb to their struggles. For Martin Short, this loss comes after already enduring the death of his wife Nancy over a decade ago. To lose a spouse after 30 years of marriage to cancer was undoubtedly one of the most difficult experiences of his life, and he has had to continue performing and working while carrying that grief. Now, to lose his eldest daughter, his firstborn child, to suicide represents another devastating blow that no parent should ever have to endure. The comedian, known for his energetic performances, his memorable characters, and his ability to make audiences laugh until they cry, now faces unimaginable sorrow that will undoubtedly change him forever. The Short family's request for privacy during this time is both understandable and necessary. They need space to grieve, to support one another, and to begin the impossible process of moving forward without Katherine. The public's natural curiosity about the details surrounding her death must be balanced against the family's need for dignity and privacy during their darkest hour. While fans of Martin Short may feel connected to him through his work and want to express their condolences and support, the family needs time away from public scrutiny to process their loss. Katherine Hartley Short was 42 years old at the time of her death, a woman in the prime of her life with so much still ahead of her. She leaves behind a legacy of service to others through her work in mental health, a family who loved her deeply, and countless individuals whose lives she touched through her clinical practice. Her death is a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of mental health awareness and support. If you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, please reach out for help. Resources are available, including the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and there are people who care and want to help. Katherine's memory will live on through the lives she touched and the light she brought into the world during her 42 years.